What is up guys, Houndish here, and today I wanted to jump in with a guide to the Volundr forge inside of Destiny 2 Black Armory. So we're going to talk about how you can forge your first weapon, exactly how you can gain access to the forge itself, then some tips for how to complete the forge as well as how the rewards work, how to acquire weapon frames inside of Black Armory, and essentially acquire the legendary gear that we'll be chasing inside of these forge modes. So I hope this video is useful for you guys. If it is, a like is very much appreciated below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. But for now, let's get into it. So before we talk about the forge itself and how you can clear it, let's speak about how you actually gain access to the forge. So the first quest that Ada 1 is going to have for you in the tower will actually be for a machine gun frame. Now all of these frames are the forge weapons. These are what you actually get rewarded at the end. And there are various different ones. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. But once you have the basic machine gun frame quest, you will need to salvage a weapon core from a forge saboteur in the EDZ. And you'll also need to collect compound ether. So the weapon core will actually come from a saboteur. I managed to find one in the outskirts right here. You will get a notification on the side of the screen when one pops up. Basically kill the saboteur, open the crate, you'll get the core. Compound ether will drop from any Fallen, so you can simply jump into something like a Lost Sector. Next step requires power weapon multi-kills as well as power weapon hive kills. Easiest way to do this is equip Thunderlord and jump into one of the Lost Sectors on Mars or Titan. I ran the one next to Armory on Mars, and it was literally a couple of runs through to get it done. After that, you'll need powerful enemies defeated. Easiest way to do this is to jump aboard Leviathan. You have to input the key code to get to the engine room, which is one of the best places to do this. The code is 15324 and 6. And you pull the levers in that order from left to right. You can do this with a couple of friends as well if you want, but then you can head to one of the areas with powerful enemies and watchers and farm them to get all of those powerful enemy kills. Once you've done that, you'll be able to go back to Ada 1, and she'll now tell you to head into the forge. Now the Volundr forge is in the European Dead Zone, you will see it on the map, and it is a pretty difficult activity to get done at this current moment at around about 600 power. So the enemies in here will scale from around about 620 to 630, and that means it's definitely very difficult at 600 power. It absolutely can be done, but really it's going to get a lot easier after around about 610. I was with a team of 607s and I'm 606, and we just about managed to get this one done. But essentially, of course, you kill the powerful enemies and all of the enemies in the forge, you throw the relics at the forge to actually charge it up. Now there's a big tip here for you guys. When you're killing the powerful enemies to drop forge relics, the powerful enemies are actually what give you the time on the clock. So essentially, every time you kill one, you get more time on the clock, which means the round is extended. The timer is not triggered when you throw the relic into the forge. So that's actually something to bear in mind. Your priority wants to be cycling supers with your team essentially. I was running Hammer Titan. We did have 2 Chaos Reach Warlocks here, but a huge shout would be an Orpheus Rig Tether, as well as Blade Barrage with Shards of Galanor. If you have a Hunter with that, it's going to be a lot of DPS, a lot of orbs, and a lot of kills. But really, that's going to be the primary thing. Try and get to a decent power level. 607 plus, you will see a change in the power delta, but especially above 610, things will start to change quite a bit. So if you are a bit frustrated with it right now, definitely hold out. It will get easier, but you'll have 2 rounds of charging the forge in the middle. My key tip, once again, would be to cycle supers, group up on one side. That's what we did for most of the time right here. We'd group up, cycle our supers, drop rifts, try and keep each other alive as much as possible and support each other, make sure that we're essentially giving each other our supers back, and things got a lot easier. So if you are currently matchmaking with players and you're at a lower level below 610, things are certainly going to be pretty difficult. Obviously, we do have a separate conversation of whether that is the appropriate design decision from Bungie and all that. But either way, the third round will culminate in the boss fight. This guy has a lot of health. For us, it pretty much consisted of getting a melting point onto the boss, then popping 2 Chaos Reach supers with Geomags as well. We had a combination of Sleeper Simulant and 1000 Voices to do DPS. And we were also cycling supers here a little bit as well, so we did pretty much have 2 supers each during this damage phase. And that is how we just about got through it at 607 and 606. But like I said, it is going to get a lot easier, so if it means grinding, power level for a couple of days maybe, then I think, to be honest, it's going to be worth it. It's probably better to do that and avoid some of the frustration right now if you are finding it very difficult. But what are the rewards for this? Well, of course, you can work on weapon frames when you go into the forge. We all have the machine gun frame if we've been running the other quests today, and you are rewarded with the machine gun. Just a brief look right here. I will try and do a separate video with gameplay and stuff like that. On top of this, you can also get some of the other reworked tier 1 weapons dropped as you play the Forge. All of these appear to have random rolls. Once you've unlocked the Forge and actually completed it for the first time, inside of Ada's inventory you will get access to an auto rifle frame, so you can actually work on a second weapon for the week. And on top of this, she'll have bounties, some of which will actually award materials required to pick up the weapon frames themselves. I currently don't know how we acquire the Forge armor. That may be something that's been discovered, but it is pretty late and I wanted to get this out for you guys. So that is a brief look at how the Forge mode itself works. A couple of tips there. Power level is really a huge element of this right now. On top of this though, we now have an idea of how the weapon forging actually works in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how armor drops and stuff will work for the Forge as well, because as far as we know, there is a loot table for that. But I'm going to play the rest of the gameplay right here. We definitely struggled through this one. As you can see, we're having to work together quite a bit to collect each other's orbs, keep each other alive, and all of that kind of stuff. It's certainly a pretty tough one, but if you guys have found the video useful, a like really helps me out below, guys. If you're new to the channel and you want to keep up to date with Destiny 2 content, tips, guides, and all that stuff, be sure to hit subscribe. Also, a massive shout out to my friend Phantom Zone and Shadowrock. Both these guys stuck it out so that we can get this Forge clear. I will link Shadowrock's channel down below in the description if you want to check it out. It does do some pretty cool Destiny content. But as always, I appreciate you tuning in and hope you guys have fun with Black Armory.
down. Down.